It's Paul Bassey, virtual mentor and coach. Welcome to this week's live broadcast. Thanks so much for joining me or watching this as a recording. It really does mean a lot that you're joining me. So at the moment, the weekly live broadcast is at 7 o'clock every single Thursday. So you can come in and join me in the group where I just hop on live for around about 15 minutes and just talk about a specific topic. So sometimes it's about online marketing, sometimes it's about freelancing, sometimes it's about productivity, or it might just be something that's kind of really current or kind of something that people have been talking about in the group. It's really just a chance for me to kind of engage with you live and kind of talk about a topic, give you some insights and give you some real value. So this week's topic is all about, as you can see in the title of this video, making the most of social media opportunities while they last. I'll just quickly refresh the page, make sure that we're all up and running on the Facebook Live, which we are, I can see, which is brilliant. So the reason I've chosen this topic is because it's something that I know that I'm definitely trying to make more of, and kind of, I know it's something I see a lot of people kind of talking about social media, how best to use it, what to do, and kind of all the best practices and things like that. And I'm not necessarily the best person to kind of talk about that because I'm not kind of an expert in it, or kind of I don't really teach it that much. But what I do know about is kind of certain specific social media opportunities that arise every now and again on social media sites, whether it's through a new feature being added on a social media site or just an entirely new social media platform coming out. And it's these opportunities, so I just wanted to kind of take this chance to kind of try and share some ideas with you and get you thinking about how you could use social media opportunities in your particular business. And I'm going to talk about some opportunities that have been and gone that you can't use anymore because they're no longer effective. And I'm also going to talk about some specific things that you can do right now in your business that are social media opportunities that really can add a lot of value in your business and kind of see some great results. You might need to try a couple, see what works for you, test the waters, but there's definitely going to be some of these ideas which I'll put them in the comments below as well, so that you've also got a list of them there. But I'll definitely be going through a few of those in this Facebook Live. So just by talking about them, hopefully my aim here is to kind of get you maybe looking for these opportunities and starting to see them and maybe try them out and really help your business move forward with a really specific strategy. So just as a bit of a general thing, so these opportunities come about either because a new social media site comes onto the kind of the arena, or a social media platform has a certain feature which maybe it's not quite as restricted, or there aren't kind of as many limitations because it's maybe in its early phases and that particular platform wants it to kind of get out there, or maybe just not many people are actually using it at that particular time and it's kind of an unknown thing and kind of not many people know about it. So a couple of examples of ones that you won't be able to use these anymore because they've kind of been and gone, they've had their day, as it were. So the first one is LinkedIn group messaging. So once upon a time, you could send a LinkedIn message to 50 people and it would look like 50 individual email, kind of basic emails, but 50 individual messages via LinkedIn. So you could say, hey there, I've just published a new blog post, or I've just created this new service, or I've just done this, or I've just done that, check this link out, or if you need this particular service, drop me a message. And you could do that to 50 people at a time, but it would look like an individual email. They wouldn't necessarily know that you were messaging every single person in your contact base. So it's a great opportunity to reach out to a lot of people on LinkedIn very quickly, very easily. And it worked. It was something that you could, with quite reliable kind of data, know that you will get so much traffic through to your website. So again, that was a great opportunity, but LinkedIn kind of cottoned onto this. People figured out that a lot of these messages were just generic kind of selling messages. So kind of the value and the return that you got kind of went away. And it was something that LinkedIn even brought in a feature and updated their messaging features so that you couldn't do that. So that's why there's social media opportunities that they come and they go quite often. Another classic one is the Twitter DM. So for anyone who knows, I mean, you could still do the automatic Twitter DM, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could do it and it was really effective. You could follow 100 people a day, you'd get 30, 40, 50 of those following you back, and then maybe 20, 30% of those who received your automatic DM back because they followed you would then click that link in that automatic DM message, which again drove traffic to a website page, a blog page, an opt-in page, whatever it is you were trying to achieve with that particular message. And it was a way that you could again drive a lot of traffic to your website through this one specific social media opportunity. And so it's again, but it was a case that in time, more and more people did it. It became kind of the known thing that that's what was happening, that they were automatic messages, that they weren't kind of being written, so that people then started to ignore them, and kind of the effectiveness of that particular tactic started to dwindle. And so again, it kind of was something that got shelved, and people were like, oh yeah, that doesn't work anymore, there's no point doing that. So again, that was a social media opportunity that came and went. And so there's lots of other examples of these social media opportunities that have been and gone, and it's a case of making the most of them while they last. And sometimes these features, they don't go away entirely, like the Twitter DM, that still exists. You can still do the Twitter auto DM and things like that, but they don't work to the same effectiveness as they used to. You can still find ways to make things work, but they're not as effective as they used to. And that's why I really want to kind of drill home this idea that you really need to make the most of certain social media opportunities whilst you can. And so what I've got now, I've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that you could be doing right now that are social media opportunities that are working really well, that I've seen. Some of them are for me that I know I personally experienced working really well, and some of them are people that I've spoken to and kind of found out that, oh, well, that's, if I was in that particular situation, that's definitely what I would be doing. So just quickly running through all of them, I'll then pick a couple out that are of real interest. So doing Facebook Lives, doing any live on any social media platform, Facebook Messenger and Facebook Messenger bots, something I'm looking to at the moment, really kind of exploring kind of how that's going to work out. Facebook ads, again, anyone who follows Gary Vaynerchuk will know that Facebook ads are massively underpriced. So with Facebook ads, right now you might be paying £1 per click, but for that same click in 2 years' time, you might be paying £3, £4, £5. So it's massively undervalued, and there's an opportunity to get more traffic than you will do in the future. If you, in 2 years' time, if you're not using Facebook ads right now, you might go, oh geez, I really wish we used Facebook ads 2 years ago. We'd have got so much more value for money. And that's what it's about. It's not always necessarily these features coming and going, but it's about getting the maximum value and maximizing that opportunity whilst it lasts. Just going back to the list, we've got, we've got also then got the Instagram DM, using Instagram influencers, LinkedIn connecting with new connections, which has kind of gone backwards, which is a good thing because you can now connect without having so many limitations. And then also just the Twitter search and engaging with people who kind of you don't necessarily have any affiliation with. So they are all things that you could be doing right now that are social media opportunities that may start to kind of dwindle over time. Over the next 6, 12 months, it might be a few years, but the value that you're getting is going to start going down as more and more people become aware of it, more and more people use those tactics, and maybe one of the features or a feature in Facebook or a feature on Instagram changes, meaning that the strategy that you did have kind of is no longer viable or it doesn't work as well. So it's really important to look at these opportunities and really try to drill home. No matter how, like Facebook Lives, I know very well how it can be quite daunting going live. It's not something that naturally comes naturally to me. It is quite a nerve-wracking thing, but you just do it and do it and do it, and then you eventually get comfortable with it, and eventually you just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing all these new things because I know there's opportunities and there's real value in what you're doing from these new social media opportunities that you're exploring. And so just a couple of examples. I mentioned about the Facebook ads. So in a couple of years' time, Facebook ads are going to be more expensive. As everyone knows that Facebook ads work and they can drive traffic and they can make sales and they can work for a business. So more and more people are getting onto Facebook ads. This is going to drive up the price. So in a couple of years' time, that opportunity isn't going to be of the same value as it is today. Similarly with things like, let's say, Instagram influencers. So that's the case of finding people who have a big following on Instagram and then saying, let's DMing them and saying, oh, I'd love to give you my product to kind of feature on your account. All you need to do is kind of tag me and do one post, and you can have this particular product absolutely free. Or maybe you kind of say, I'll do some services for you in return for kind of a bit of promotion on your account. Kind of really using their influence to kind of grow your following. And it's a case that maybe in a year's time, there'll be a feature that makes that a lot harder to reach out to those influencers. Maybe if you're kind of just starting out on Instagram, you will need to have a certain amount of following before you can kind of contact someone with 1 million followers. Right now, you can contact anyone on Instagram just by DMing them. So there's no limitation to who you could contact and what influencer you could actually potentially get kind of promoting your products or talking about your services on their Instagram account. And it's this thing that you don't quite know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know, I mean, again, all these social media sites, they're probably going to be around in a few years' time, but who knows? Maybe someone buys, maybe someone kind of, something major goes wrong and Instagram goes away overnight. And then all those things, all those opportunities that are gone. Or maybe Instagram brings in a new feature, which means that that strategy that you were using to contact Instagram influencers, that doesn't work anymore. So it's all about making the most of social media opportunities while they last. And that's what this whole kind of broadcast has been about, that it's really important to don't be afraid to kind of try new social sites or try these new features, things like Facebook Live. Yes, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but after a few goes, you're going to be definitely kind of a lot more comfortable with it. And as you try these new things, trying new things in the future is going to become a bit of a norm, and you kind of go, okay, yeah, got to figure that out, got it. And you kind of, it becomes a process that you're always adopting and adapting to these new features. And then when you do find an opportunity or a system that does work really well, it's important to then make sure that you go all out on it, that you kind of triple down on kind of whatever opportunity you know you found that works, and then kind of just making sure that you're getting as much benefit from it as possible before it becomes popular and before it maybe kind of changes and you can't use it anymore. So it's really important to make sure that those social media opportunities are really maximized for your business. And then it's also a case of, once you find the opportunities, you need to make sure you're monitoring the results. So just because you found a system that works for a few weeks, you go, oh yeah, this is brilliant, you're not going to want to necessarily keep it going for the next 2-3 years. What you want to be doing is monitoring the results from it. Like the auto DM on Twitter, I used that for about 12 months, and then I just started to see the clicks and the click-through rates just dropping off. So I was like, okay, maybe people are starting to get a bit annoyed by it, getting frustrated by all these kind of automatic messages. So I stopped doing it and kind of moved on to something else. So it's a case of monitoring the results and being prepared to ditch that kind of opportunity when you feel it's right to move on, because you don't see the value is there anymore. And then finally, that kind of brings me nicely onto the final point. Just make sure you're constantly on the lookout for these opportunities. There's going to be more opportunities on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. There are new opportunities coming about because social sites bring in new features. They want people to stay on the site. So they're going to bring in new features which businesses can make real opportunities of and kind of use in their marketing strategies, use as marketing tactics to grow their businesses in one way or another. You just need to make sure that you're on the lookout for those particular opportunities. So that's the end of this week's broadcast. I've kind of talked quite a bit about making the most of those social media opportunities. What I'll do is in the comments, I'll definitely list the examples that I've talked about and add a little bit of a description, what you might want to be doing with each of those so that you've got an idea about them. But for now, if you have any questions, please do comment below. I'll get back to you and give you some feedback, whether it's questions about this or maybe it's about some other aspect of your business. I'd love to hear from you. But this group really it's here for you guys. I want to kind of make it a place where you can get a bit of advice, a bit of support, and a bit of inspiration for your business, because I know that little bit of help can really make a difference to your journey. So as I always say, the help is out there. I'm here to help you. I'm in the group all the time. So please feel free to post a discussion asking for help or posing a problem that you've got in your business, looking for solutions, seeing if anyone else has experienced the same problem as well, because chances are someone else has been where you are right now and can help you. Whether that's me or someone else in the group, there will be someone who can help you. So for now, that's the end of this week's broadcast. Thanks so much for joining your virtual mentoring coach. That's me, Paul Bassey. I hope to see you next week. For now, hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the group.